So guys, Marquette here, back with another video. And today's video is going to be incredibly important because in today's video, I'm going to explain to you the different types of game, right? Game, when people talk about it, they talk about it as if it's this all-encompassing thing that there's only one way to do it, right? But there isn't. There are 4 distinct types of game. And the goal of this video is to help you understand every type of game there is, and also for you to identify the type of game that's going to be most in alignment with who you are. We're doing this so you can learn how to start to get results, but get results in the way that's easiest for you, okay? So let's dive right into it. The first type of game that we have is cold approach. Now, when people talk about game, this is essentially what they're talking about, cold approach, okay? Now, cold approach is essentially approaching random women. So when you see videos of guys like approaching women on the street, you know, displaying riz, they're doing cold approach, right? Now, there's some pros to doing cold approach, right? In every one of these categories, we're going to break things down from pros to cons. And at the end, I'm going to give you a verdict of what type of guy is going to be in most alignment with this type of game, okay? So one pro of cold approach is the world becomes your dating app. When you do cold approach, you are cultivating the skill set of creating attraction out of thin air. That means wherever you see a beautiful woman or a woman that you have interest in, you can go up to her, talk to her courageously, confidently, with no fear, and potentially, you know, progress the dynamic forward to dates or even a relationship, right? This does not mean that if you get good at cold approach that you're going to get every woman. No type of game is going to get you every woman. But if you can get good at cold approach, the world becomes your oyster. You'll be able to travel overseas, bag women there, go out to the grocery store, bag women there, walk down the street, bag women there. It is an incredible skill set to learn. Another pro is going to be, it makes all game easier, right? So there's another type of game that really makes all game easier, but cold approach applies as well. When you learn like how attraction works and social dynamics, the same rules are going to apply in all categories. So the same rules that apply to cold approach are going to apply to online dating, are going to apply to social game, or going to apply to social circle game, right? So if you get good at cold approach, you're going to by default get good at the rest of these categories. Understand? Another pro is it's a transferable skill set. What I mean by that is if you can go up to a woman, a beautiful woman, and create attraction, you're going to have a certain degree of mastery of social dynamics. And when you have mastery of social dynamics, it's going to apply across the category of every type of social engagement. What I mean by that is if you go to a networking event, if you can get good at cold approach, you're going to be able to make connections with like CEOs or business owners or people who have a skill set that you don't have that you need to incorporate in your business, right? Getting good at cold approach is going to make you good with people, all people. And that is kind of one of the tenets of my belief system is I don't believe that men should just go out here learning game with the intent of getting women. I want you to learn skills that are going to create more momentum in all areas of life. Meaning when you learn this foundational skill set, every other aspect of your life becomes better. If you can do cold approach, you can easily make friends. Making friends is going to be easier because you don't feel intimidated by anybody. You know social dynamics, so you can go into a situation and even if someone is way more successful than you, because your inner game is locked in, because you have such conviction and belief in yourself and confidence, no matter what their status is, you'll be able to go to them and create conversation. If you saw Elon Musk out, even though how successful he is, you can go up to him and create conversation. If you see like Tyla out, I mentioned Tyla because, you know, she's a very beautiful young lady. You can go up and create conversation no matter what her celebrity is because you've cultivated the ability of walking up to people who have higher social status than you and still creating a connection. So cold approach is definitely something that you want to learn. Now, there are some cons to cold approach, right? All of these lists, all of these types of games are going to have some real downsides, and you want to know what the downsides are so you don't waste your time learning the skill set, right? Seth Godin has this concept of the dip where you want to know what is the hardest part of learning this skill or going down this road. Know that before you even start going down that road. Because if you can't handle the downsides, you're better off not venturing down that road to begin with, right? So here's the dip of cold approach. One, it's very hard. I'm not going to lie to you. It is a very hard skill set to learn. Very hard. It's not something you're just going to master by going and talking to 5 people. You're probably going to need 100 approaches under your belt before you actually get good at this. I'm not even a master at this. I'm good at creating attraction, but I would definitely not say I'm a master at cold approach, right? Because I haven't needed to, because I focused on other types of game. See what I'm saying? That's what I mean. Like, know what you want to get out of it, right? It requires a lot of volume. Like I said, you're going to probably have to do 100 plus approaches before you actually start to feel somewhat competent at this skill set. You will be rejected a lot, which is partially why it's so hard, because you're going to get a lot of rejection. There's no way around it. You're going to approach women who have boyfriends, women who are in situationships, women who aren't attracted to you, no matter how socially savvy you are. It's part of the game. And ignore this noise out here. There's like a trash man outside getting shit. It's also better for big cities, right? So cold approach, you live in like a rural town or like a place that doesn't have a large population. You definitely don't want to build a reputation of the guy who's just going up talking to women trying to get their number. Right, word spreads fast. So this is good if like you're in New York, Miami, LA, places that have like a lot of people and a lot of tourists, right? Those are the kind of the environments you want to learn cold approach. That's not to say that you can't walk up to women if you're in a small town. What I'm saying is the amount of reps that are required to get good at this shit is going to require volume, right? And if you're in a town where like you approach 100 people and everybody knows your name and you have the reputation of like the guy who's just trying to fuck women, it's going to be a bad situation, right? So it's good to learn. It's good to learn the basics of it. You should be able to do this, right? The mindset shouldn't be, oh, I'm focused on this type of game, so I'm never going to code approach. No, you should still code approach, but you might not want to have the intention of mastering code approach is what I'm saying. So the verdict, this is for men who want to master game and become social gods, because if you do master code approach, you will become a social god. Let's move on. Social circle. Definition of social circle is dating in your social group. So you're in a friendship circle and you're dating the women who are within that circle, or women who are tangentially connected. So maybe you have a friend, but a friend of your friend is someone you're interested in and you date that woman. That's social circle game, right? Now, the pros of social circle. It's the easiest form of game. It's the easiest form of game because people's guards are low. You're naturally pre-selected and vetted if you're part of a social circle. People already like you. If you see a girl you're interested in and you're friends with her friend, her guard is going to be lower because her friend has already pre-vetted you. So it creates it greases the wheel for connection, okay? Higher quality women, okay? If you are part of a social circle, it's assumed that you have similar values. So you don't have to guess like what type of woman this person is. Even if she was like a 304, you probably are aware of that because people talk within social circles, right? Any man can do it. This is the one area of game where any man can do this. This is probably going to be the highest ROI for most of you guys out here at social circle game. It's probably going to be the highest ROI. Also, women like to play matchmaker. That's another pro. So, there's a female friend that I have, beautiful woman, but she's married. She's attracted to me, but I don't ever act on it. But she is like constantly trying to find me like an African wife because she's Ethiopian. So she has a lot of beautiful friends and she's constantly sending me like Instagrams of her friends. Like, what about this one, right? That's the benefit of social circle. Again, you're pre-vetted. If I wanted to capitalize upon those opportunities, I easily could because I'm friends with the girl who's friends with these other women. I want to make a meta point here. I'm gonna make a whole video on this. You want to start becoming friends with women, okay? You got to stop looking at women from a transactional frame of mind. A lot of you, your minds are warped by porn, right? So you watch a lot of porn and the effect of porn causes you to only see women in a sexual way, okay? You got to get out of that. You have to start looking at women as people. So one tactic that you can employ is just to start befriending beautiful women. Just be friends with them. Put yourself in the friend zone, or better yet, friend zone them. It's going to do two things. One, it's going to make you more attractive to them because you're not really trying to make moves on them, right? You're proactively putting them in the friend zone. Two, women love playing matchmaker. If you are, a guy who's like just cool to be around, you got cool energy, that woman is probably going to try to link you up with her single friends. It's just an easier game. Now, the cons are going to be a lack of volume, okay? Social circles have limits. You're limited to the people in the social circle. Therefore, there's going to be a display of a lack of volume in that scenario, unless you're a part of a big group. in which case this isn't that much of a problem. But no matter how big the group is, you're still going to be limited, right? So you don't want to depend on this. You want to, I think all of you, this should be one of the areas you focus on. This should be a tool in your tool belt. Social circle game. You're just going to get more quality matches. A lot of people get into relationships due to being friends with people, their social circle. Just do it intentionally and you'll get a lot of success. Second con is reputation. If you're a guy who's just looking to hook up, be careful. Be careful. Word spreads fast. Okay. So you don't want to, again, develop a reputation of the guy who's trying to fuck women's brains out. That's going to be a real con with social circle, right? So if you're trying to get into a relationship, this is a good one. If you want one off, like friends with benefits and stuff like that, this is a good one. If you're just trying to get your notch count, this is a bad one. Don't focus on social circle if you're just trying to increase your notch count, okay? So the verdict is every man should be doing this. This is a type of game that every single one of you should employ, right? A lot of y'all are put into the friend zone and, you know, your power is taken away because the woman proactively put you there, right? But if you flip the dynamic and you put her there, you have your power again. Now she's going to be vetting for you. Now she's going to be trying to bring women to the table and connect you with women. You understand? And additionally, when you go out with women, you naturally are more attractive. Okay? I'm including this in social circle, even though it's kind of different, but I've tested this. I've been out with like female friends and I showed them like, yo, now that I'm here with you, I get more eyes on me because you're a beautiful woman. Other women are perceiving you're pretty, you're with him, so he must have something because you're so beautiful. A lot of men have noticed that when they get in relationships, women show them more interest. And it's because women want what other women want. Okay? That's how like these celebrity guys who are not that attractive start getting a lot of women interested in them. Look at Duke Dennis, right? Duke Dennis was making content for a long time and he wasn't getting female attention. Once women started becoming interested in him, it created a snowball effect of other women being interested in him, right? And then the snowball effect happened. Just more women became interested in him because they're seeing all these other women interested, so he must have something. So even if they're not naturally attracted, they're going to become attracted because other women they can't be wrong about you being attractive, so I guess you're attractive. A lot of women are followers, bro. It's part of being feminine. The feminine is very receptive. A lot of women are looking out to see like how they should think. That's why they say women need leaders, because they're followed naturally. It's not to say that women can't be leaders. What I'm saying is their natural state is to follow. Even women who hate men still are following someone. They're following their friends. You know, they're replacing the man's leadership with their friends, or they're replacing the man's leadership with their therapist. They still need to follow someone, even if they resist following a man. It's part of being feminine, okay? But that's for another video. So I said, verdict, every man should be doing this. The next one is night game. Now, night game is basically approaching women in clubs and bars. A pro of this is hookups. If you're someone trying to get your notch count up, night game is the way. It's very easy. It makes all other game easier. I know I said that it's about cold approach, but really night game is the truth. It is true about cold approach, but night game is, because it's the hardest type of game, if you can get that on lock, you're going to kill it in every other category. Easily, right? It increases your status, right? If any of y'all are anime fans or you watch Dragon Ball Z, this is the hyperbolic time chamber. This is the hyperbolic time chamber. You go on this motherfucker, you hitting Super Saiyan mode. Easy, right? Some of the cons though, let me go back to increased status. So it increases your status. So if you start to make a name for yourself as like one of the guys, right? Because in order to pull women in a night game scenario, you have to increase your status even amongst men, right? So if you're the guy who's coming in giving everybody a good time, you're naturally going to be looked at as a leader, right? So this is going to increase your status in other areas of life. When men see you getting women, they're going to want to know you. You see what I'm saying? I've experienced this. This is the area of game I have the least experience in because I don't need to have the experience with it, right? I've done cold approach. I've done social circle. I have almost no experience in night game. I went out with a friend of mine because I wanted to prove to him that like how night game works, because I understand it conceptually. The way the night game works is there's multiple ways that you can get it to work, but this is like my understanding of it. All night game is you go out, you're high energy, and you're just spreading good energy to people, right? You're making sure everybody has a good time. You have a win-win mentality. You're just going up to people, making sure people have a good time. So I went out with my friend one night and we went to this bar. Didn't know anybody. It was like a little meetup group that were a part of. And we went there and I was telling him, I was like, listen, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to show everybody a good time. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to joke with people. I'm going to make sure everybody has a good time. And I want you to watch how people perceive me. Watch how women start to notice me. And he didn't think it was that any fruit was going to come from it. So I actually approached, when we first got there, I was talking to the hostesses, talking to people as we went past, talking to people in the elevator. Went up to the bartender. She was a decently attractive woman. Went to the bartender and was talking to her, and she was closed off, right? I was trying to do a little flirtation with her, but she was kind of closed off. You could tell she was in work mode. So I just took a step back. Then I proceeded over the next hour or so to go spread positive vibes, talk to everyone, right? Then I worked my way back to the bartender, and I noticed, and my friend noticed, that she was way more open to my advances. Better than that, she was actually advancing towards me. We started talking about her being a nurse. And I was like, yo, so you, if I'm sick, right, you can take care of me. And she was like, well, I might have to give you mouth to mouth. Totally different energy than she had when I first approached her. Why? Because when you go into environments like this, when you go into venues, women are scanning for who has the energy, who has the most vitality, who's the leader, who's like at the top of the pecking order here. And the way that you become the top of the pecking order is you become the guy who's like the party. You become the guy who's spreading positive energy everywhere. And when you do that, it literally shifts where you are in her mind in terms of value. She starts to put you higher up in value and then becomes more attracted to you, right? And I showed my friend that happening in real time. So I got a number and everything, didn't do anything with it, but I just wanted to prove to him this is how this shit works. Now, it is hard. All right, we're gonna get to the cons. One, it's very hard. This is the hardest type of game. Easily. Hardest type of game. You need to be extremely extroverted. You're not going to be able to crush it in night game if you're an introverted person. Sorry guys, have some technical issues. It's like I was saying, you're not going to be able to crush it in night game if you're an introverted person. I've never seen it work. You're going to need to be the life of the party, like I said. So yes, this is for guys who have a lot of social savvy, who are extroverted, and ideally want hookups, because one of the cons is you're going to find just low quality women. I mean, that shouldn't surprise any of you, right? Like, you're going out to bars and clubs with like drunk party girls, like you're not going to find your wife there. It was highly unlikely you're going to find your wife or your girlfriend in an environment like that. But if you're optimizing around hookups, it's a fair play. Now, personally, I'm not really a hookup person. I've done it, you know, I've had a bit of experience there. But where I am in my life right now, it's not really something I prioritize. I don't really enjoy it. I much rather have like a relationship or someone that I deal with like exclusively. But I've certainly done all the hookup shit. So if that's what you want, no judgment, but just know it's not going to fill that void inside of you. But I'll keep the spiritual talk for like another conversation. So last on the list, we have online dating. And this is the most problematic one. I have a very much of a love-hate relationship with online dating, because a lot of the complaints that people have about dating, they're talking about online dating. People now have replaced the term dating with online dating because it's just how most people meet nowadays. A lot of you guys who are frustrated with women are typically frustrated because you tried to date online and you haven't had any success with it. Not surprisingly so, right? So let's dive into it and why I have a love-hate relationship with it. So again, online dating is essentially dating apps and social media. So if you match with a woman on dating app, you're doing online dating. If you slide into somebody's DMs, you're engaged in online dating. So the pro is you get a lot of volume. This is an area that guys should go after if they're trying to get their experience up with women, right? So if you're someone who can pull off online dating, this is a good way for you to start getting a lot of experience. In fact, that's kind of what I did, right? When I first got single, I was hitting the market with online dating like a lot. That's where most of my dating has come from. I would say 70% of the women that I've dated have come from online dating. I just can pull the shit off. Another thing, when you get good at online dating, you create an asset that brings women to you on autopilot. So a lot of your work is done. Once you create a really good profile, whether that's an Instagram profile or a Hinge profile, it becomes a asset that just constantly funnels women to you. So it is a easier way to start dating. Like I said, you gain a lot of experience quickly. A con is good text game is required. If you're going to get good with online dating, you have to be good with texting. And text game is a skill set. Texting a woman is a skill set. You have to get good at it. I'm going to write a text guide that's going to help y'all get better with text, but it's going to take time, right? You're not going to just learn a few principles and be immediately good with it. You're going to have to put the reps in. Text game requires a lot of understanding sub-communication, a lot of understanding timing and momentum. It is 100% a skill set. But once you learn it, you got it. So once you learn it, it's always going to be effective. Low quality women. This is something a lot of people don't talk about. High quality women are not single long. High quality women don't have to download a dating app. Now, don't misunderstand me. When I say high quality, I don't mean attractive. You can be a 10 out of 10 and still be a low quality woman. There are plenty of 304s who are very pretty, right? What I found in my experience is if you understand attachment styles, anxious, avoidant, and secure, most women on dating apps are avoidantly attached. I've made a whole video on this on TikTok where like the online dating environment is very compelling to an avoidant personality because they want to be externally validated and they want volume of dating options, right? So if you're talking to a woman on a dating app, it's likely she's talking to 10 other men at the same time because they can so easily get matches, right? When people are saying that all women are going after the like top 10% of men, that's a dating app stat. That comes from dating apps. But dating apps aren't dating. They're not the same. Dating apps are a one-dimensional environment, but attraction is multi-dimensional. The problem with dating apps is they reduce you to your looks. We're going to get into that. So if you don't look a certain way, you have no shot with a woman, right? A woman that you could get via social circle, a woman that you could get via cold approach, a woman that you could get during night game, you probably can't get on a dating app because the things that will make you attractive in these domains can't be communicated on online dating. It reduces you to your looks. Make sense? So if you're not a good looking guy, we'll get into the cons. Low quality women, you have to be attractive. If you're not at least a 7 out of 10, forget about it. I'm not saying if you're not a 7 out of 10, you can't get matches. Yeah, you can get matches, but you're going to get low quality women, bro. You're not going to get good women. In fact, there's another con that I didn't list. Because of hypergamy, when you're on online dating, you automatically are settling. Automatically. Not every time, but 99% of the time you're settling. Because of hypergamy, women are going to be matching with men who look better than them. Right? You won't have that problem so much with cold approach. You won't have that problem so much with social circle. You won't have that problem so much with night game. Online dating, you're automatically settling. So even if you are getting matches, you're shooting below what you actually can get. No one talks about that. You are shooting below what you can actually get. Because women they're not seeking out men on their level on online dating. They're seeking out men who are above them. In real life, they're seeking out men who are at their level or above, right? And you can bring yourself up to their level by learning social skills and learning social dynamics, right? You can just be a guy who's confident, who's charismatic, who's a leader, who has social savvy. And even if you don't look that great, that brings you up to her level or past her level, really. Here, we're taking all that away. We're taking all those intangible qualities away and we're focusing just on looks. So she's going to go after men who look better than her. And this gives men the impression that all women are going after the top guys. And it's like that's partially true, but it's true on online dating. It's not true in these other categories. It's true on online dating. So you have to be able to separate that in your mind. That is true. Women are going after the top percent of guys, but in this context, not in these other contexts. Okay? So yeah, you have to be attractive. So the verdict is this is for attractive guys who want easy access. Now I am going to make an online dating guide for guys who are attractive, because if you are attractive and your goal is just to get dating experience, if you are at least a 7 out of 10, you can definitely cook with this. You can definitely cook with this easily, right? But if you're not a 7 out of 10, bro, don't waste your time. I'm never going to lie to y'all, right? Like some people look at my videos and they're like, this works for attractive guys. And it's like, no, it doesn't. You don't have to be attractive for this. You don't have to be attractive for this. You don't have to be attractive for this. You have to be attractive for this. I'm not going to lie to you. Right? I'm going to tell y'all the honest truth. You have to be attractive for online dating. okay? Like physically attractive. So if you're not, if looks aren't on your side, don't waste your time. So anyway, guys, it's another video. I'll be dropping a video per day for like the next week or so I can start building up content for this Patreon to just set y'all out with like a good, strong foundation. And after I get 7 videos or so, I'll drop 1 video per week so we can start getting more members. But again, Code Approach, Social Circle, Night Game, Online Dating. Pick 1 or 2, master them, you'll be good.